I've audited so many brands that test ad creatives, find some winning ads, scale, but then eventually they stagnate and hit a plateau. And whenever I audit the account, I see the same thing happening for most of them. They found some winning ads, they found a winning audience to target, they doubled down on it, they found a creative style, they doubled down on it as well. But the problem is that it gets repetitive and all their ads start looking the same way. And they only start appealing to the same audience, which is limited. And what's worse is that since they're only working on one brand and see the ads and the angles every single day, it gets really repetitive and they don't know what to create or test next. If you're a team or you experience something like that, watch this video, and after watching it, you will never experience that again. In fact, the more you test, the more ideas you will have what to test next, and you will know exactly what to test next. My name is William. I've generated over 70 million in sales for 7- and 8-figure e-com brands and scaled multiple brands past 1 million per month. With that being said, let's get into the exact framework. So the main problem I see is the framework that brands use for ideation. Or better to say, most of them don't even have a clear framework. They see specific angles work, they see specific ad styles that work for the competitors, and they kind of plug this into their own brand and try to make it better, and this is their whole creative strategy and their ideation process. Now that might work to get to 6 figures per month, maybe even a bit further, but the issue with this is that you're naturally limited and tend to do the same thing over and over, and also the tests are kind of random. You don't have full clarity, oh, after I test this, I need to test this next, and then this, and I will know that this and this will probably hit, and if not, then this will hit. This is the difference between these two frameworks. So let's have a look at the framework that I use to scale brands past 1 million per month. Alright, so this is the framework that I apply. Before you look at this, it's very important to understand that there are specific testing hierarchies. Testing a new text headline or testing completely a new angle are just not at the same level of potential impact. Here in this framework, all tests are sorted from highest impact to lowest impact. Let's go through it. So essentially, every product satisfies multiple market desires. What could it be? Now let's say we take protein powder. That can satisfy multiple market desires. It can help you build muscle in case you just want to become more fit and adapt the self-identity of a more muscular fit person. That's one desire. Another desire could be to build muscle and look better to get girls. That's a completely different desire that is being satisfied. Another desire that it also satisfies is, for example, losing weight. People who want to lose weight without losing muscle often supplement with protein. So you see that there's one product, but it can satisfy many desires, not just 3, but usually many. You will find your product maybe satisfies 1, maybe 2, maybe 3, maybe 4, but usually multiple. And this is already the first big thing and the highest leverage test. Based on the reviews you analyze, based on competitor messaging, based on the frequency of specific comments, you will find and you will be able to sort by multiple different mass market desires. What is most wanted? What is the second biggest desire? What is the third biggest desire? You can literally count the frequency of a specific desire being mentioned. The more it is mentioned, the more scalable it is. Now, what most brands do is all their ads focus just on one desire, and all their competitor ads focus just on one desire. Everyone is just running into this one specific desire blindly because that's what's working in the market, and most brands just look, oh, what's working in the market, let's do the same. Now, nothing wrong with that, that can work to a degree, but at the same time, if you reposition your product and target a desire that is not targeted yet in the market, or maybe by just a few competitors and not everyone, basically a desire that is not that crowded, this can unlock a whole new tree of messaging and angles and personas you can target. You can see there's a whole tree growing from just one desire, and I will explain in more detail how that works here. But again, the desire is the biggest thing. Your product is just the bridge from the current state to the desired state. So if your product can get people to different destination points, you can see like the angles are completely different. The visuals, the ad styles, depending on the desire, will completely different, and even the persona that you target. So one level lower, we have the persona. Each desire creates multiple sub-personas. Let's take the example of the desire losing weight. This technically creates a big broad persona, literally everyone who wants to lose weight. But that is of course very unspecific when it comes to messaging. So what you want to do next is to create personas based on this desire. So who wants to lose weight? There are many different personas that can be born from this desire. It could be, for example, a mom who just gave birth and now they want to lose excess weight. It might be someone who has been overweight for their entire life and now they decide to get fit. It might be someone who has been always a bit unhealthy, slightly overweight, who has been receiving comments about this that are kind of unpleasant, but never really attacked this seriously and didn't really think much about it, but it kind of bothers them in the subconscious. Those are just 3 really quick personas that I imagined from my own fantasy for this video. Of course, when you do this, what you want to do is to research exactly what do people say in the reviews, in the ad comments, on social media, what kind of people are talking there. This will give you direction about what personas actually exist. Now, once you create the personas, there are multiple angles that can target the persona, right? So let's take the mom who gave birth and now wants to lose weight. So multiple angles we can approach this. It could be just feeling well and fit in her body and feeling like she's in her 20s. It could be feeling confident and desired by the husband. It could be many different things. And those are angles that we can leverage to address this specific persona and desire. Now you can see each persona again creates multiple angles. And you can do this literally for each persona. You can find working angles on social media, you can find it in organic posts, you can find it in competitor ads. You can also find it again in reviews and in your research, something that competition is not doing yet, but people in your audience mention. And you can basically take what's already working in the market, but also add and test new angles from your own research. That's probably what you're already doing. The thing is that most brands just skip to this step and just test random angles, but they don't know yet what is the main desire that's actually performing for them. What's the main persona that's actually performing for them? Does it make sense to maybe add on a new persona? And then of course each angle can be expressed through different visuals and through different text hooks. And as I already mentioned, the product has the biggest impact. You have one product, maybe you even launch a new product, but now for simplicity, let's take just one product. The product has the biggest impact because that satisfies different desires. Each desire creates different sub-personas. Each persona can be targeted by different angles. Each angle can be expressed by different visuals. Each visual can be paired with different texts. Now, I hope everything is clear. If you have a question, just ask in the comments and I'll reply when I see it. But essentially now, as you understood this, you might already see why this is the infinite ad framework. Because based on this, there's so many things that you can test. The question is now, what to prioritize, what to actually test. So again, if you're at a point where you have some working ads, but you haven't used any clear structure yet, you want to start with desires. You basically want to start from zero. You want to take your best ads and repurpose them for different desires and see maybe another desire gets traction as well. If you've been focusing only on one main desire, then test the second and third biggest ones and create split tests so you can see exactly, okay, we tried to keep as many variables as possible the same. We kept the same creative format. Let's say it's a podcast ad. Okay, we kept it a podcast ad, but then we rewrote it to serve different desires. Based on the split test, you will be able to see, hey, this desire does not really resonate, but this really resonates and we haven't tested it yet. Okay, great. So after that, you can go and do the same split test, but with different personas. You want to keep your new winning ad as similar as possible, but frame it for different personas. Then once you find a new persona, that can be a huge unlock, because that might be even a persona that your competitors are not targeting because they're just kind of doing random tests, looking what other competitors are doing, but you know the one who's actually leading the whole creative strategy in this space. So you want to go ahead and exploit this new persona as much as possible. It won't be really competitive because nobody is doing it yet, and this is where a lot of money can be made. You want to target them with all possible angles, supported with different visuals, texts, and so on. So you can see you can really go step by step here. And if you apply this framework strategically, so you really go top to bottom, and on one hand you go deeper into where you've already been. Let's say, oh, we have a winning desire, this works, okay, and we have this winning persona, but so far we've been only focusing on this persona, so let's now go into this other persona and then go into more detail when it comes to all the angles, visuals, and texts for this persona. And you can hop on to the next persona. And then when you have exploited all of this, you can say, okay, let's now go into the next desire. And oh, here's a new winning desire. Maybe it's smaller and less scalable, but it's still winning and maybe less targeted by the market. So there's even more opportunity. And now you go down and go there through persona 1, 2, 3, and so on. So this really shifts the question from, I don't know what to test next, to I have so many things to test, what should I prioritize? And if you apply this framework and the thinking structure and the logic I told you here, you even know what to test. Highest impact to lowest impact. If you already are down here and you found your winning path, great. Then go one path up and try to find the next winning path. This is how you do it. And the beauty of this is that the more you test, the more tests you will have. Because let's say you find a new persona and then you're like, oh right, now I need to do research on what angles work for them. Now I need to ideate completely new angles. Now I need to research what kind of creative formats resonate with them. Because if the language and the age and the behavior on social media is different, now suddenly everything is different. So the more you test, the more questions you will have, the more hypotheses you will have to test, and the more you will need to test new different things. Now, if you're overwhelmed with this, it's okay. It can get quite technical, especially as soon as you add awareness levels and sophistication stages for each persona as well. If you want me to implement the strategy for your brand and lead your creative strategy as efficiently and directed as possible, click the first link in the description. There you can set up a call with me directly. I will audit your current strategy, and if we are fit, I will make you an offer to scale your brand. Otherwise, check out also this video where I go in more depth about awareness levels and sophistication stages, all you need to know to execute this strategy fully. Thanks for watching, keep scaling, bye.